Okay, so today we're going to learn how to make one of these multi-strand bracelets. These are really popular right now and super easy to make with an adjustable knot. So here's what we're going to do. Here's an example of one that I did for some fall colors. But this is what I love to do. I keep my scraps. All these scraps that are just maybe a foot or so long. It can be anything from 5 inches and longer. Anything shorter than 5 inches, I don't keep. So here are just some colors that I picked out that I think would look nice together that were just in my scrap pile. And we're going to make it look like this adjustable bracelet with an adjustable knot on it. The straps are going to be an additional piece. So first we're going to cut the pieces to be on the top of the bracelet. And what I do is just measure once around my wrist. And I want those multi-straps to go all the way around my wrist, just almost exactly. So that way when I cut it and tie the knots, it's going to be a little bit shorter than all the way around my wrist. Okay, so now that I have my first one, I've got to measure all the additional strings to that first measurement. And you can use whatever colors you want. I just happened to choose some colors that were some blues, pinks, purples, blacks, navy blue, that kind of a thing. So as I'm measuring these, I'm going to line them all up to that first blue strand that I cut. Here's kind of like a dark plum color. I'm going to add some purple. And all of these scraps happen to be longer than about 5 or 6 inches. So that works perfect. I don't have to use the good string that's on the bolts that I have. I can just use these little scrap ends and keep lining them up. Here's like a dusty blue color. I usually like to pick about 10 strands, and you can repeat colors if you want to make a color more predominant in your bracelet. Here's another blue. And after you have about 10, we're going to make sure that we trim all of them to the end of that first strap that you cut, that first strand. All right, so just nice even cut. And now it's time to get some pieces of scrap for the adjustable straps. So now I'm going to look for one that's about 10 inches long. So I happen to have some blue that was a little bit longer. It was from a bracelet that I started to make and just didn't like how it turned out. So instead of throwing it away or just trying to reuse it, I just put it into my scrap pile so that way I could just use it for another bracelet altogether. So you want 2 of those. You need 2 straps. They can be matching colors. They can be 2 different colors, totally up to you. Last piece that we need is a scrap piece about 5 inches long for the knot. So I already had one cut to about that length. Again, it doesn't need to be exact. These are scrap pieces. The scrap piece that I picked is probably closer to 6 or 7 inches for the knot. So now what we're going to do is attach the first strap. So what I like to do is bend it in half perfectly, kind of pinch it with my pointer finger, and make sure that I'm using that halfway point. Why the half is important is when you twist your straps, you want to make sure you have an even length on both sides. So I kind of hold it in place with that right pointer finger and then tie a knot with my other hand. If you can't tie a knot with one hand, just put all of your strands underneath a clipboard to hold them all in place, and then you can use both hands to tie your strap onto your strands. So then I give it a good flip and I tie just a simple right over left knot again and pull it as tight as I can. Now when I trim them, I want it to be really close to the knot, not right on the knot, but close to it. So that way when it melts it, it creates kind of this ball and doesn't allow for the strap to slide off. I'm going to do a separate video on how to melt the ends so that you can see how that's done. But what I like to do when I melt those ends is get it to where it's waxy, it's flexible, it's hot, And then just at that stage, I pull the strap down in to the strands that are melted. So it kind of melts the straps to the strands and it all just becomes one. And it gives it a real nice professional look. So here we are doing the other side, pull it tight, flip it over, tie another knot. Okay, so now our bracelet's about 3/4 of the way done. Pretty easy. Now we just have to twist the straps and add the knot. So now this is where I get my clipboard out so that way I can attach the bracelet underneath of it and hold it so I can use both hands to twist the straps. If you'll notice, I didn't clip one of the ends, so I'm seeing that now that I'm laying it out, and I don't want those ends to get caught up in the straps, so I'm going to give it a trim. It's just nice if you do it as you go, so that way as you're twisting the straps, you don't get these little frayed pieces inside of them, and it looks much cleaner. I did a separate video on how to twist the straps slowly, so if you want to go check out the fishtail bracelet, I go through step by step of how to do these straps. Basically what I'm doing is just twisting them in my thumb and pointer finger and then rotating it. Always the same way. Twisting to the left, rotating to the right. And I'm just going to do that all the way down. When I get to the bottom of that strap, I'm just going to tie a simple knot. I like to use 2 fingers and slide that knot all the way down to the end to make sure that it's nice and tight. And then I'm just going to do it on the other side. So twist and spin, twist and spin. That's how you get that nice rope braid. You can actually do the same thing in your hair. Sometimes I put my hair in a high ponytail and twist and spin it to get kind of like a rope braid look. Same thing, same concept. We're just going to tie a knot at the bottom of this and slide it down with our 2 fingers to make sure that it's near the bottom. You can match up the knots and slide it so that way they're exactly the same length if you need to. Once we have our 2 straps created, we're going to trim those off really close to the knot, but not right on the knot. Okay, now we're done with the clipboard now that those straps are created. So I'm going to get that out of the way. And now we're going to make that adjustable knot. So what I like to do is put the 2 straps right next to each other, parallel. We're going to take that piece of string for the knot. I'm going to go over the 2 straps, over the knot string, under the straps, and up through the hole. That's your first knot. We're going to do 5 of these. Now the important part of this is to remember to start from opposite sides every time you create a new knot. So since we started from the left before, this next knot was started on the right. I'm going to go back to the left, go over the 2 straps, over the knot string, under the straps, and up through the hole. That's 3. Pull it tight, opposite side from the right, over the 2 straps, over the knot string, under the straps, and up through the hole. All right, that's 4. And here we go again, 1 last knot. Once you have that 5th knot and it's nice and tight, you can go ahead and trim those pieces that are close to the knot, not right on it. You want to have a little bit of a tail so that way you have room to melt it. We're almost done. Now all we have left to do is just to melt those raw edges. Now this is a waxed polyester string. So what's great is that when you wear it, it's waterproof. You can wear it in the shower, while you're swimming. If you're doing dishes, you don't have to worry about any of those things. And this gives you the ability to take it on and off should you need to change the colors, or if it doesn't match your outfit, you're just tired of wearing it. Just go ahead and pull those straps so that way it's done.